Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are FC.
For many years, Kauffman Stadium has been a nice, comfortable place to play. Not anymore. Given a reason to come out and a team to get behind, Royals fans have made Kauffman Stadium anything but comfortable with the second-best home record in the league. The Royals go for the series against the Indians next. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and we expect another big crowd here tonight as the Royals go for the series against the Cleveland Indians. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery are also coming up. I was told for years when I came to Kansas City that when this team started to win, that the city would go crazy and the fans would support this team. And believe it or not, right now the Royals have the fifth best average attendance in the American League. What do you remember about playing here in the so-called old days and broadcasting here?
We knew automatically whenever we got in the airspace here in the Midwest, we were going to win the series. That's how we felt. Confidence. You know, we loved coming here, sure, because we knew we could beat this team.
Well, that's changed, and our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard will show us the numbers. The Royals are 18-8 at Kauffman Stadium. Minnesota's having a surprising year in the Central Division. They're the only team with a better home record than the Royals, and the Royals are just one of two teams in all of baseball that have not lost a series at home.
When we watched that tease of the Open here, we saw that, and you guys talked about the energy and watching the people. I got goosebumps. And just like the folks that are packing the K here now, they're entertained by pitching, they're entertained by great hitting, but they've really come to watch wins, and that's winning the series. That's what they're looking for. 3-0 at home, rubber games here. This is what they want. The fans are passionate, the energy. I can hardly contain myself to see what Royal will knock in the game winner tonight. Who's driving? All aboard!
And it might be Chris Young driving the bus from the pitcher's mound. Where would the Royals be without him right now? And the rotation's about to get it even deeper. Joel and Monty will talk about that right after this.
Trevor Bauer faced the Royals back in April, had a no decision, also has one of the most unique warm-up routines in baseball. Most guys would come out about 6:40, 6:45. He was out there well before Hy-Vee Royals Live started, somewhere in the 6:15, 6:20 range. And hey, why not listen to some tunes, or who knows what's going on in there. Joel Goldberg, alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And Monty, the good news for the Royals, they might be getting some more pitchers back.
Yeah, going to get a chance maybe to get Danny Duffy and Chris Medlin back maybe during the second half of the season. So really great to see those guys come out today and work their simulated games.
All right, our University of Kansas hospital injury report. Let's start with Duffy, who may have one more sin game and then go out on a rehab. You notice something different about him?
Yeah, he looked really good, very crisp today. He's actually going to change his mechanics. You look at his arms above his head when he does his windup, so maybe something to help him with this breaking ball.
A little bit more Wade Davis-like almost from the left side. And then Chris Medlin in for the week. He's going to go back to extended spring training, but what did you see from him?
Well, I'd never seen him pitch in person, but today watching him in this simulated game, I saw great stuff. 4 quality pitches, fastball, curveball, changeup, slider, really crisp with all of them.
And Chris Young at 6'10" loves Kauffman Stadium, and he will throw the first pitch coming up in just a moment.
High-speed internet. The U-verse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. For great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles, stop in today. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. So the deciding game between the Royals and the Indians. It's the third series between the two teams. The Royals have won the first 2, so they're off to a good start. But the Indians have won 10 of the last 11 season series against the Royals. And here's the Indians lineup. There is Michael Brantley in the lineup as the designated hitter. He got last night off with Jason Vargas on the mound.
Didn't hurt anybody's feelings last night when he was out of that lineup. Now he will be the DH tonight. Chris Young, sponsored by Kia. He knows how to win games. He's been holding the opponents down to just a 166 average. That's 5th lowest in Major League Baseball amongst pitchers facing guys 100 times. He has been really good.
Royals had another excellent game defensively last night. Royals defense is presented by Ford. Salvador Perez is back in there.
Nice to see him back. Look, you know, I think they did the right thing by letting him sit out last night. There's plenty of ball left ahead. And remember, Ned said before the season, got to find a way to get him some rest. Good to see him back in there.
He was dinged on the left side of the mask by a foul tip in game 1 on Tuesday and came out of the game early, and Drew Butera started last night. Ned Yost was asked before the game tonight, so Salvi has no issues tonight. He said he had no issues last night. He just wanted to give him a night off. And Chris Young's first pitch is outside to Jason Kipnis, who was one of the best players in the game in the month of May, but now in June is just 1 for 8. All those at bats in this series. And now he's ahead 2-0.
Chris Young, very difficult to hit. 6'10", 6'11", whatever they mark him at, is a really good downhill playing angle. He throws up underneath the baseball at times, it looks like. I like to call that an invisible. It's tough to square up. He's got a nice slider he'll use a lot with that fastball and some occasional changeups. Fly ball pitcher.
And there's a fly ball. 1 out.
Show you from what a hitter sees, or at least the best we can get, of how he's looking at Young. You're going to try to pick up that release point. You see it. It's going to come right up, about almost 3/4, free and easy. Guy's very well prepared. Dave Island said he's the most prepared guy they have outside of Guthrie. Those two veteran guys, they know exactly the game plan and what they're going to do and how they're going to execute it.
Carlos Santana. And you see that a lot with Chris Young. A big swing, a miss, a hitter looking overmatched. And nowadays, with all the technology, you can immediately go to the radar gun in the lower left of the screen. And the first pitch of Santana was 86, but you get swings like it's 96.
That's why we call it the invisible. It's just amazing how he can get you out when he's throwing 90, 91 miles an hour. He's very good at what he does.
And a call on the high strike.
He'll live up there in that high part of the strike zone. He stays down and around the corners like most guys that are successful up here. You got to stay out of the middle. But he's going to challenge hitters up and, you know, basically saying, hey, hit it as far as you can. Okay, there's a little slider. He took something off of it the pitch before, and lots of times he'll raise that eye level and come right up there in that top of that zone. And Santana, you got to go.
That's a good sign for Chris Young, getting calls like that. David Rackley is the home plate umpire, who calls a strike on Michael Brantley.
Tribe haven't faced a whole lot of Chris Young. The most at bats against him in their lineup is Brandon Moss with 14 times up. Brantley 2 for 5 in his career off Chris Young.
Now he's hitting just .240 against the Royals this year, but he had the game-winning hit on Tuesday. 2-out RBI in the 8th inning. He had a big year against the Royals last season, hitting over .400. Back to Young. In the dirt, but Hosmer takes care of that. An 11 pitch first inning for Chris Young. Let's see what the Royals do against Trevor Bauer. Last night, the first 2 pitches of the first inning resulted in the game's first run against Corey Kluber.
Red Sox, and they beat Boston today, so the Royals are a half game back of the Twins in the Central Division. Ned Yost is just one game back of tying Royals Hall of Famer Dick Howser and the only World Championship manager in Royals history, as number 10 is retired. So one behind Dick Howser and just 7 wins behind Whitey Herzog. And here's the Royals lineup tonight, presented by State Farm, with Salvador Perez back in there. And we both felt, Hud, that the Royals were back to their normal approach in last night's game against Corey Kluber.
Yeah, as far as feeding off of one another, it worked, especially in that one inning. Doesn't matter what inning it is, just get those runs up there and feed off them.
24-year-old Trevor Bauer. This is his second start against the Royals this year. Another strikeout Indian starting pitcher with 65 in 63 2/3 innings.
Opponents aren't hitting much off him. He's got good stuff. Good quick delivery. Ball gets on you in a hurry. 90 to 96 with his fastball. He'll average out about 92. Slider, changeup, split finger, curve. He's got a bunch of pitches. Now he's been simplifying and he's eliminating a few of those. We'll see what he features. And he watched that game last night, the way the Royals executed against Kluber. So now early inning, he's not serving fastballs in there. He's mixing up his pitches early.
Escobar into the corner, but foul. Be careful pitching him inside over the past 4 games, 5 games.
Yep, that's right down the middle. He's just a click out in front at 93, just ahead of it.
And he will walk. Now that's one way to get to Bauer. Hud mentioned that the league doesn't really get to him. He has a very low opponent's batting average, but he is among the league leaders in walks. That was his 26th.
You walk Escobar, you really did something. That's just his 7th walk. Defensively, no Yan Gomes tonight. It's Roberto Perez, pretty good catch and throw guy. But you know, the Royals, they haven't seemed to use their running game and haven't needed it much. But we'll see.
And Mike Moustakas was ready for a first pitch fastball. He had another 2-hit game last night. So Mike Moustakas, at this point in the season, he has played in 47 games. He has more multi-hit games now than he did in 140 games last year. Now Bauer back with another fastball, and it's 0-2. Escobar doubled on the first pitch in the bottom of the first last night. Mike Moustakas on the first pitch he saw singled to drive in Escobar. Blocked by Perez. A throw down to first, and Escobar is back in time.
I've been timing Bauer at 1.3 to 1.4 seconds from the time he starts his windup to get the ball home to the catcher. And that's plenty of time for Escobar if he can get any kind of jump at all to steal a base. He's getting a little bit jumpy over there at first, but is able to get back.
Escobar only has 3 stolen bases. Here he goes. The pitch is inside, and the throw was offline, but really not in a bad spot. Aviles had a chance to apply a high tag, but Escobar got his foot to the bag in front of the throw.
I asked Esky yesterday if his legs are feeling fine and want to know if he's going to steal any bases for the people. And he says, I feel great, maybe tonight. So he's got himself a bag. First one in a while. Good jump, good slide. If the throw is anywhere close to that bag, they might have gotten him, but that's what it takes sometimes, is a perfect throw. But guys aren't perfect. They're only human, even though they make it look easy.
That'll be out of play. Still 2-2. And now into the Royals' strength this year offensively. Our Toyota League leaders. Royals still over 300 with runners in scoring position, leading the American League. And when you get to runners in scoring position with 2 outs, the Royals really don't drop off much at all. They're hitting right at 300, and that leads the league.
They were 4 for 5 last night with runners out there at second base and beyond. We'll see. Moose wants to pull the ball if he can. Move Escobar over.
Boy, look at the movement on that pitch. Moustakas was backing off thinking he might be hit. And that almost caught the inside edge.
See, when he just lets go of that ball, you can see his hands are on the 2 seams. They call that a 2-seamer. It runs. It has some run back over the plate from a righty.
Ooh, that was ball 4. It's not like Moustakas to chase one out of the strike zone like that, but you could tell by the swing that he was trying to get something over to the right side, and Bauer has a strikeout.
He gave him the pitch inside, but it was up and out of his zone. That's a teaser. You know, the pitcher and the catcher, they know the situation. They know they're trying to get it over, but if you just get one up out of the zone like that, maybe it would work, and it did.
One of the first things we discussed before the game on Tuesday was how these 2 teams' strengths would play out. The Indians lead the league in strikeouts. The Royals have struck out the fewest of any team in the major leagues. The Indians have 22 strikeouts in the series, including the one against Moustakas. Kane jolts it to center, but Bourne is there. Escobar runs back to tag. Bourne doesn't have much of an arm. And Esky will go to third on the fly ball to center field.
That ball just beat Lorenzo Cain. Just got in on him and just a hat enough to where he couldn't get it over or beside Bourne in center. Escobar advances to third. It's not a bad idea. Trevor Bauer has 3 wild pitches this year, so you never know.
A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one and tonight's game, to stay tuned for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Here's a pretty good candidate right here, Eric Hosmer, especially against the Cleveland Indians. Here he is with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, and we were just talking about how the Royals have been so good in that department. Hosmer has 13 RBIs already against Cleveland. And twice in this series, he has an RBI with 2 outs.
Call that clutch. He's 2 for 8 in his career against Bauer. But with 2 outs and runners in scoring position, that'll work.
Escobar started the inning with a walk. He also has a stolen base. 2-1 to Hosmer.
Bauer's given up 5 homers this year, 3 to right-handed bats and 2 to left-handed bats. One of those left-handed bats was Alex Gordon.
Good pitch. Down and in right near the edge of the strike zone.
Excellent spot there at 94.
And Bauer strikes him out. So Bauer ends up with 2 strikeouts in the inning. And he gets around the leadoff walk and the stolen base. Last year's playoff run with 4 unique bobbleheads. Each bobblehead celebrates an iconic Royals moment from each round of last year's postseason. And the next one is Lorenzo Cain. That's coming up on Saturday, commemorating one of his great catches from Game 3 of the Division Series, presented by Farmland, and that's to the first 15,000 fans against Saturday. That's an afternoon game. Don't forget, not the normal 6:10 on Saturday. It is at 1:10. Brandon Moss takes high ball 1 from Chris Young, who got Kipnis, Santana, and Brantley in order in the first inning. Speaking about the postseason, and we talked about this last night, the wild card game. Brandon Moss had a big game for Oakland. He hit 2 home runs and drove in 5. And since that wild card game, he has driven in 14 runs at Kauffman Stadium. Three and one.
Moss loves hitting here. You can see what Moss has done. His 4 hits off of Young, 3 of them have left the yard.
Just got underneath it. And Cain glides into straightaway center field for the out.
Look at that. He's running across the diamond with no limp after fouling that ball off his knee last night. He's a tough guy. A lot of guys would be in the tub today.
And now Young to David Murphy. Royals have pitched him well so far this year. He's had a good year, but not against the Royals. Jammed him up the right field line and foul.
Slider in on his hands, and it jammed him, but he's able to keep his bat intact. Alex Rios in right. Wind blowing in from right field.
Into center field. Cain got a good break and makes a play.
Murphy, when he made contact, it felt so good he thought he had him a knock. You can't slip it by Cain, and you don't make that catch right on, like you said, unless you come right in on contact on first step. That ball had some topspin on it. It was heading towards the Trevor turf.
And Chisenhall, after the first pitch, fouls it away. He is the reverse of Murphy. He is not having a good year, but has swung the bat well against the Royals. Remember last year, Cleveland came to town, and they had just been in Texas, and Chisenhall had a 5-hit, 9 RBI game the night before.
Career game.
He is a first-round pick, a former first-round pick. And the Indians last year had basically decided to move on. Remember, they took Carlos Santana out from behind home plate, and they made him a third baseman. Now, Santana had some infield background to him, but the Indians were moving on. And Chisenhall responded with his best major league season. Trying to find a place for Santana after committing the future to Yan Gomes behind the plate.
That's right. Discovered Gomes and then moved Santana.
Yan Gomes is not in the lineup tonight. Two and two with 2 out. How to play. Chisenhall and Mike Moustakas actually are very similar. They wear the same number. They were both first-round picks. They both were drafted as shortstops and moved to third base. Into left field. That'll drop in front of Alex Gordon. And when it seemed that maybe the game was thinking that Chisenhall and Mike Moustakas weren't quite what they were billed to be, that's when they showed up.
Just takes time, because as Michael Brantley said yesterday, baseball's a tough game. But just, you know, sometimes you just got to stay at it and stay at it and stay at it, but have confidence and never lose it in yourself. If you do, you're in big trouble. Cream eventually does rise to the top.
Former Royal Mike Aviles, 1 for 4 with an RBI in this series. Did he go? No appeal. 2-0.
That's a tough thing for hitters facing Chris Young. You know, that's a borderline pitch. We saw him get a strikeout on Santana with a pitch up in the strike zone like that. So hitters are saying, well, I really got to get on top, or I'm just going to take it, because you'll end up popping it up.
So what do you do against a guy like Chris Young? Do you look up because he's going to pitch you up, or do you tell yourself to lay off the pitch up?
I'm going to lay off the pitch up and look down, make him down. You know, usually you hear the term see him up, see him up. Make sure he gets the ball up, but not against Chris Young. There it is, another high strike. I'm going to try to tell myself to lay off of anything up there. Easier said than done, but if your focus is right, sometimes you can make that work.
Popped up. Infante is out. Rios is in. 2 scoreless innings for Chris Young. promotions in the history of Major League Baseball. But in our AT&T Uverse Rewind in Cleveland on June 4th of 1974, 10-cent beer night was not one of them. A brawl between the Cleveland fans and mostly the Texas Rangers. The game ended up resulting in a forfeit in the 9th inning in a tie game with the tying run on base. A fan ran onto the field in the 9th inning and attempted to take Jeff Burroughs' cap, who was one of the Rangers infielders. Right. Burroughs tried to chase him down and fell down. And as the story goes, Billy Martin was the manager of the Rangers, and he had thought that Burroughs had been attacked by this fan. So he opened up the barn doors and
go get him.
Told go get him, and that's how it all started and ended.
Oh man, tough way to lose a game.
You were limited to 6 12-ounce beers every time you went to the concession stand, but you could return as many times as you wanted to.
Dangerous.
Yep.
Not a good promotion.
So that's what, 72 ounces of beer for 60 cents. It's a heck of a deal.
Wow.
As Morales flies out to center field. One down in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Well, Wildcat fans, we know you'll show your school pride and you won't try and steal that cap from anybody's head, but it's available to you on Sunday as the Texas Rangers of all teams will be in town. See how that works out?
I hear you.
It's our annual K-State Day. The first 3,500 fans who bring their special K-State Day ticket to the designated table will receive one of these limited edition purple and gray KC Royals style cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Again, that's Sunday. Riding fastball in for a strike to Alex Gordon. Hud was telling you about Alex taking Bauer deep. 2-1.
I mean, that ball, it might still be going if they didn't have a concourse behind it to stop it. But you can't connect any better than this. Yellowwood bringing the lumber. Oh my, pass out a set of earplugs while you're at it. That baby was loud. Oh, look where it ended up. Backside of the stadium.
And that's about as much style as you're going to get out of Alex Gordon. That's Bauer's 2nd walk. He also has 2 strikeouts tonight, and Alex is on with 1 out. Good form, though, with the follow through after the home run there.
It was a pretty swing. Yeah. And I reminded the folks of Will Clark. Remember, a great left-handed hitter in his day. He had the same kind of follow through Alex did there. Let's check it out again. This is really perfect. That front leg stopped him. Really good lead. Look at that nice little follow through right there. Oh, that's pretty.
Rios takes one under the chin from Bauer.
Four-seamer there. Almost looked like it had a little rising action to it, but a little bit too close for comfort. But Rios going to get back in that box and hoping he can hit one right back up the box. There's a nice catch by Perez. Keep Alex from moving into second base. I told you Bauer has 3 wild pitches this year so far. To go along with his 6 or 7 pitches. Looks like tonight so far he's staying with fastball, slider, curve, and occasional change.
And he just got underneath it. Michael Bourne gives way to Murphy. And Alex bluffs a tag. 2 down.
There's the opponent when the pitching break down to the opponents and what they're hitting, fastball, slider, change, curve, he will throw a split finger as well. You see the split finger there, rarely used, but he's an effective pitcher, a good young pitcher, nice future ahead of him.
He is a very interesting character. He would be the American League's version of Tim Lincecum. And he's not just a young man blessed with a strong arm. He is a baseball intellect. Going back to a very young age, we told you the story, if you were with us when we were in Cleveland earlier this year, that he began studying biomechanics in high school. When he was a kid, he and his dad would read about Cuban baseball players who would strengthen their arms by throwing coconuts. So they would waterlog baseballs to make them heavy. He read that Nolan Ryan would drive nails into a softball to make them heavy. You know, you don't see that very much. I remember when pitchers would play catch with footballs, they'd play catch with softballs.
Yeah.
And he has a very interesting pre-game warm-up, which Joel and Monty were talking about. It takes a long time.
Yep, you know, and he's got his headphones on listening to his favorite selection of music, but he is a little bit of a different pitcher as far as preparation goes, but he's smart.
Salvi strikes out. The ball is dropped by the Indians' Perez, and that completes the third strikeout of the game for Trevor Bauer. No score at the end of 2. Nice slide. Third straight strong start in this series with the Indians. Our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. Jason Vargas last night, 2 runs, no walks in 6 innings.
Yep, Joel had Butera, the guy who caught him, on the Royals Hy-Vee Live pregame show. Butera was saying, wow, is it nice and fun to catch a veteran like Vargas, especially when he can pitch. And that's right, he doesn't throw, he pitches. And when he hits his spots, he's tough to hit. Solid job last night. Cool, calm, and collected.
It was only the second time all year that the Indians did not have a single walk, as they lead the league in that category. Off of Young's glove, and he deflects it out into shallow right field. Probably a base hit if Young doesn't get his glove on it. And Bourne is on to begin the 3rd inning.
Michael Bourne again going good. He had 3 hits last night. Another multi-hit game for him, and he'll take it. Chris Young made a nice play in the first inning to get out of it. Couldn't miss it there. Last night's multi-hit game was the 13th of the season for Michael Bourne. Cleveland Indians want to think about stealing the base off of Chris Young. Might as well go ahead. In his career, the success rate of steals against Chris Young, 89% success. So he'll let you steal.
And Perez bunts foul. Cleveland's middle of the pack when it comes to stolen bases. They are 7th in the league. So you hope for a ground ball and a double play here, but this is not a ground ball pitcher on the mound.
No. Only 41 ground ball double plays in his career. Just 1 this year. He's pitched over 10 years in the big leagues.
Bourne started to go and stopped, and it's low to Perez. 1 ball, 1 strike. We talked about this last night. Michael Bourne, he's had a lot of hamstring problems since coming to the Indians, which includes hamstring surgery in the National League. On 3 different occasions, he led the league in stolen bases. And he missed the bunt attempt. 1-2.
If I'm a coach for the Cleveland Indians, I have this young man out tomorrow, and we're going to work on bunting. You can't bunt a ball with your arms close to your body. You've got to get the bat head out so you can see the pitch and see the bunt. You got to see it down. When the skipper asks you to bunt and you can't perform it, you better work on it. Young's given him a couple of nice pitches to get down.
Bourne runs. The pitch is low, and Bourne has a stolen base. Salvi had to throw from his knees. That pitch was down and away. Number 5 for Michael Bourne.
Lots of times Salvador Perez won't even come up. He'll just stay right down on that knee, and it's a little bit easier for him to transfer from glove to hand and throw. Bourne, good takeaway. Wouldn't have got him with a perfect throw. You get that off the pitcher, that lead and jump.
3-2. Roberto Perez came into camp as the Indians' backup catcher, but with Yan Gomes going down with a knee injury early in the season, he got a lot more playing time, and for a while was the Indians' regular catcher with Brett Hayes as the backup. Former Royal Brett Hayes. And Perez does a good job of getting a ground ball to the right side. Hosmer to the bag, and Bourne goes to third.
So he couldn't get the bunt down. Bourne steals the base, and then he gets him over with the hit, so he'll get some love in that dugout. Nice recovery. That'll help you stay out of the doghouse with Tito. However, having played for Terry Francona, I can tell you he didn't have a doghouse. It's a fun house. He encourages. He knows how hard the game is.
Base hit right field for Kipnis. So the infield single and the stolen base turns into a run.
Kipnis did exactly like you want to do facing Young. You got to really concentrate on the top hand and get that ball down and through. Now watch him as he sets up. Likes to set up, feels the bat down low, and then he brings it up. But he stayed on top. He's able to drive that ball. See how he uses top hand. You know, the bottom hand, it leads, the top hand follows, but you got to be able to get the top hand on a high pitch.
Now, you mentioned that he likes to do that, hold the bat flat. Now, he can't swing like that. That would make his swing very long if he started from there. But you say he likes to feel the weight of the bat. Is that a reminder to use his hands?
That's what he told me a couple of years ago when he did it. And he did it. It was more pronounced a few years ago. He'd hold it up, and now he's only doing it right before, and then a few ticks before he gets set. But yeah, he said he likes the feel of the bat. He likes to feel. And you know, you were explaining how your dad, Major League hitting coach, said he didn't like that. You know, but you know, different strokes for different folks.
Fair ball. Kipnis goes to third. He'll be held there, and Santana is in with a double. So the Indians have one run in, and now second and third with one out.
Another ball just above the belt. Stayed on top well. Hooked it right by Haas. Cleveland with some good hitting on that high pitch has Chris Young in a little bit of trouble here with one out.
And it's Michael Brantley who grounded back to Chris Young in the first inning.
Ed Yost keeping the middle of his infield back this early in the game gives the infielders more range with a runner at second base to possibly knock the ball down. Great block by Salvi.
Ouch. Base hit right field. Hit hard enough where Santana had to make sure it was going to drop. So Kipnis scores and Santana holds at third. 2-0 Cleveland with runners at first and third and one out.
That's now a pitch that's not up and it's not down, and up here at this level it gets hit, and Chris Young knows that. So Dave Island's going to be able to come out, have a little chat with him.
And now they're checking on Santana. You know, I noticed when Santana hit the double that he was late to get into second base. I don't know if something happened to him maybe when he was leaving the batter's box after his double, but Kipnis says he went coasting into third on the double, and Santana was.
It looks like his right quadricep is bothering him by the way he's acting over there.
Strike to Brandon Moss. He flied out to center field in the second inning.
Fly ball hitter, fly ball pitcher. Right situation with run out, one out, and a runner at third base. That's it. Secondary pitches to the rescue. Work that slider, that changeup down and in. Down. Maybe he hits a ground ball somewhere. That's probably what Dave Island told him. Fastball up is not working this inning. Let's go to the secondary pitches.
Put in a good spot. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And then with a high fastball, big strikeout against Moss, who is the Indians team leader in home runs. 2 down.
Great job of setting him up for this pitch. A couple of sliders down low and finishes him off upstairs with 87, and he was behind that ball, so it looked like to Moss it was 93, maybe 94, because it's just the illusion. It's the ability to set up that pitch with the sliders that worked.
Murphy lined out to center in the second inning. Kane made a good play charging in. I'll be back into the crowd. How about this for a strict platoon player? David Murphy has 108 at bats this year, 4 against left-hand pitchers.
Yep. You know, when you ask him, he'll say, yeah, let me face a lefty. I can hit him. But you know that sometimes that decision's made by the manager.
On that topic, and I don't know if he is declined against left-hand pitching or they just prefer to use Rayburn, but David Murphy hit his first major league grand slam against the Royals, and he hit it off of Jimmy Gobble. That's how long Murphy's been around. Two and two. Out to center field again. Kane racing back, still back. It's over his head. And that will be worth 2. David Murphy, who lined to center his first time up, doubles to center, and that makes it a 4-run third inning for the Cleveland Indians.
Normally when you see a ball hit like that here at the K on a pitch up and away, Lorenzo Cain to the rescue. Not this time. Murphy barreled it. You can see Lorenzo Cain, he's playing him to the off field a tad, but look, he turned and ran on contact, still couldn't catch up to it. Tells me that ball was crushed.
Blocked by Sal, and Murphy stays put at second base. Ball 1 to Chisenhall, the 8th man to bat in the inning. .25 pitches in the inning for Young, and 56 in the game. Right at Lorenzo Cain, and that'll do it. 8 come to the plate. The Indians score 4. The big hit, Murphy's 2-out 2-run double. helping kids learn the game of baseball and about life. And through his leadership and role as president, he has kept the KC 3-2 program alive for more than 35 years, allowing tens of thousands of youth to enjoy the game of baseball. Named Manager of the Year numerous times, John has also been inducted into the Hall of Fame by the Kansas City Sports Commission and sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game.
Great job, John. My boys play at your complex. Way to go.
Well, the Royals need to answer here as the Indians get 4 in the top of the 3rd inning. Omar Infante is down to 222. That puts an end to an 0 for 12. And here come the Royals with the leadoff man on.
Royals have a knack for jumping right back on teams after they pound them, and that's exactly what they're doing here to start it off. First Royal hit of the evening. Bauer on the side of the baseball right there. It's easy to call from up here, so much tougher to hit. Infante, he stayed with it and just guided it out there off the end of his bat. Oh, Infante feels a lot better now that he's back out there and wants to do something.
I had mentioned he had been 0 for 12, but beyond that, 2 for 33.
Maybe he found something there. The swing, I told you last night's been a little long for me. I mean, what I've been seeing, he's really swinging out of his shoes. And that's what happens sometimes when you're pressing, but you got to shorten it up. And he did there on that slider, stayed with it nicely.
Escobar walked leading off the 1st inning. Also had a stolen base. He was at second base with nobody out and was stranded at 3rd as Bauer came up with a couple of big strikeouts in that inning. And that's hit well to center field, but it stayed up for Michael Bourne. Remember, Sundays at Kauffman Stadium have something for your entire family. Prior to every Sunday home game, Family Fun Day will feature face painters, balloon artists, an entertaining DJ, and player autographs atop the Royals dugout. And then, of course, the fun doesn't stop there, because after the game, kids under 14 can run the bases during the Skippy Fun Run. And the first 500 kids in line will get a Skippy t-shirt. Aviles goes out into shallow left field to take care of Mike Moustakas. He is 0 for 2. So Infante with that leadoff single, still standing there with 2 down. And Lorenzo Cain to the plate for the 2nd time tonight. He flied out to center field in the 1st. In case you're wondering, Lorenzo Cain's last home run was over a month ago. One ball, 1 strike.
Well, you start getting that base hit to right field and start using the opposite field. That really helps when it comes to the long ball, because you're seeing the ball longer, you're waiting longer, and then your eyes will react and your hands to that pitch inside. Eyes tell the hands what to do. But we all knew coming in that Lorenzo Cain, from a power standpoint, is not your prototypical type 3rd place hitter in a big league lineup. Has the potential to hit 10, maybe 15, but not in this ballpark.
Deep center field.
Really?
And that puts an end to that.
Oh, way to call it, partner. Way to talk him into it.
Just had a feeling.
Dead center field. I mean, what do you mean not in this ballpark, Hud? Shake yourself. That ball wasn't walking. That went over the second tier here at the K. 4-10 straight away. Locane letting some line out. Just got through talking about it, not hitting a homer. Ryan, way to go, partner. You talked him into it. Watch him. He's got that little Torrey Hunter fallback. Nice little arc to his swing right there. It's a pretty stroke. Oh, you know, I just didn't think he had enough to get it out of center field here.
Well, we just saw Murphy's fly ball sail over Kane's head.
That'll get him right back in the game. That's exactly what they needed. Ooh. That's a little bit too high and tight for Hosmer's liking, and I don't blame him. That's a little chin music up and in there. Haas turned the right way. You see that coming at you like that, young players? Turn just like Haas did. Turn to the backstop. I'm giving him the green light here, especially after getting brushed back there 3-0. If he gets a cookie down the middle, go ahead and put it in the hydration station. Ooh.
That's the biggest swing he's had this year. He might take the same swing if he gets a similar pitch. He will take a walk, and he's still staring at Bauer, who refuses to look back. That might, and I say might in quotation, be an admission of guilt. Our T-Mobile game changer. We've been telling you about Hosmer against the Indians all year. He has 49 RBIs against Cleveland, most against any opponent. 13 this year. The Royals record, Mike Sweeney had 20 RBIs against Cleveland in 2001, and Hosmer has an excellent chance of catching and surpassing that. There's a base hit into left center field. Hosmer puts it in another gear and goes first to third. And the tying run is on with 2 down. First hit for Kendrys Morales.
Cleveland 4 in the third they got off of Chris Young, and now all of a sudden the third inning is working again like it did last night against the Tribe and Bauer. Morales, good opposite field swing. Beats the shift.
Well, a good time for Mickey Callaway to come out and check on Bauer.
You know, lots of times when a pitcher comes up and in there on you, and you know you haven't been doing anything but your job. Now that was the ball 4 pitch. There's the stare down. He's like, you know what? I'll remember that. So, you know, that's just the way the game is when you're competing out there amongst men.
And again, when Hosmer was staring him down and going to first base, Bauer was looking at his shoes. He was not staring Hosmer back.
You know, and Giordano Ventura can learn from that just by watching Bauer. There's no need for Bauer to make any eye contact. He did what he wanted. He wanted to brush him back. Now let's see if the Royals will continue to make him pay with 2-out Lightning.
Inside to Alex. He walked his first time, and we showed you when he batted in the second inning that the last time the Royals saw Bauer at the end of April, Alex hit a long, loud home run against Bauer. Blocked by Santana, going back to his old catching days, and that gets Alex 2 in the inning. The Royals answer. The Indians got 4 in the third. The Royals get 2 back on Lorenzo Cain's first home run in a little over a month.
Oh, dead central. Beauty.
where he was trying to go. I had a chance to talk to Chris about that because he thinks so much. There's so much process involved with the way that he attacks hitters. That ball going to squeak by Hosmer. And here goes Aviles for 2, and it's going to be a double out of the gate for Aviles. But, you know, guys, he said that's exactly what he wanted to do, but that he noticed that McCann was waiting on that pitch. Really felt like he would have been able to get him to pop up, that he was waiting on it. Made adjustments the rest of the game. Never threw that high fastball to him again. The other 2 at-bats, everything was down. Low fastballs, off speed, ended up with a walk and then a strikeout. So a game certainly of adjustments, especially with a thinking pitcher like Chris Young.
Sometimes you want to execute a pitch and you miss because of the human element. That's exactly what that is. And the hitter was waiting for it. They all know he throws high fastballs. Now this right here, this is just a thing of good luck right here for Alex Avila. Excuse me, Mike Aviles. Saw that coming. Just get him over.
So now it's the Indians trying to answer after the Royals got 2 in the bottom of the 3rd inning.
When you're sacrifice bunting, that's what you do. First pitch, get it out of the way. Just get it down. Bourne, he's a good bunter. And he looks like he's running well.
Now the Royals will bring the infield in all the way for Roberto Perez. He helped set up one of the Indians' 4 runs in the 3rd inning with a ground out to the right side. A 180 hitter, Roberto Perez. Strike makes it 1-1.
We had a couple of good games early in the season against the Royals right here at the K. This kid busted out. It just off the top of my head, you know, he had a 3-hit game one time and 2 hits in another. He was really good. Likes the fastball, and who doesn't?
Great pitch. And a good take by Perez. That probably ends up being a weak ground ball to the left side. Slider struck him out. Number 3 for Chris Young. 2 down in the 4th inning.
Perfect pitch.
Don't forget to vote for the Royals. The 2015 MLB All-Star voting is all online this year. Lorenzo Cain has the 2nd most votes in the American League to Salvador Perez. And Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Alcides Escobar, Salvador Perez, Alex Gordon, all among the top spots in the voting in the starting lineup if the voting ended today. But let's make sure it stays that way. Go to Royals.com/vote right now.
36 times.
Did they add one?
On one email, 35 times, my bad. And if you want to make up a new email account, you can do 35 more per email account. We got to get Haas in there.
3-0 Young pitching Jason Kipnis carefully. Kipnis drove in one of the 4 runs in the 3rd inning and later scored. He will take a walk. That is Young's first. Setting up Young and Carlos Santana. Santana ripped a double up the right field line in the 4-run 3rd inning. and scored. The big hit in that inning was David Murphy's 2-out 2-run double. Kipnis runs. Sal will not throw. The stolen base for Kipnis. So that puts another runner in scoring position for Santana. Royals have that right side stacked with Infante out in shallow right field. 1-1 on Santana. I think the Royals would like a decision right here and stay away from Brantley.
Looking for a pop-up.
Just outside. Sal tried to frame it. That'll be foul. 2-2. Last inning, when the Indians scored fourth, after the first two, they had runners at first and third and 1 out, and Young got a big strikeout against Moss, but then Murphy hit the 2-run double. In this inning, with the runner at third base and 1 out, Young got a big strikeout against Perez, but now a walk, and 2-2 on Santana, who fouls it away again. Young is at 73 pitches, and the bulk of those coming last inning to 8 hitters. Struck him out with a fastball at 88. So in this inning, Young finishes the job, and the Indians with a leadoff double and a runner at third with 1 out come up empty.
Great job of pitching by Young to get out of that.
Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Thoroughbred Ford. For great deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. A little over 30,000 for game 1, a little under 30,000 for game 2, and another nice gathering here tonight. Kids can stay up a little later now that we are in the summer season. Royals are 5th in the league in average home attendance.
It's outstanding. Folks responding to the product on the field.
2-2 on Rios. Ooh, he got a pitch he wanted up and in at 95. Rios flied out to left field in the second inning. All the scoring tonight was done in the third inning. Cleveland scored 4. The Royals got 2. Royals getting their runs on a home run from Lorenzo Cain. Rios, Perez, and Infante, and Rios fills out the count.
Three walks from Bauer. Good test for the Royals offense. They don't walk, but you know, that's the 4th walk now they've milked. Good job of being selective. They do have it in them, and sometimes those will start rallies and keep them going.
MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand in HD with highlights, live look-ins, and pitch tracking every night on every device. The Royals' season high for walks as an offense is 5, and they have 4 in 3 innings and 1 batter. They are facing the right pitcher for that. Bauer is among the league leaders in walks allowed. He has now walked 30 this year in about 66 innings, so about 1 every 2 innings. Sal, we'd like to have that back. Bourne makes a play, 1 down. Sal is 0 for 2 tonight. That looked like the pitch he wanted. He wasn't late to react, just didn't make the contact he was looking for.
Nope, Sal been struggling. Coming into tonight, just 2 for 20 with 9 punch-outs. He's been struggling a little bit, and he's swinging a little bit out of the strike zone. Now, that's one he wanted to stay on top of, but just got a little out in front of it. At 95, he was a little in front of it.
Well, let's see if the Royals got Omar Infante going. He singled leading off the 2-run third inning. He had been 0 for 12 and 2 for 33, and came home on Lorenzo Cain's 2-run home run. One ball, 1 strike.
Sometimes that little lousy single, that little doinker that you get will turn you around. And so far, looking at these first 2 pitches, he's not jumping. He looks pretty quiet. Maybe he can just get a little streak going here now. Rios has base stealing ability. Don't see it a lot, but possibly maybe a hit and run with 1 out. Managers like to put it on with 1 out. That way, if it is successful, you can get that runner to third baseman unless with 2 outs. So it's a good opportunity.
Going out of the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Murphy comes up. and makes a play in left field. 2 down. Saturday, MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns. That'll be game 2 between the Royals and the Rangers on Fox Sports 1, followed by Baseball Night in America with an AL Central showdown between the Tigers and the White Sox. Coverage begins at 12:30. Giordano Ventura and Wandy Rodriguez will be the pitching matchup. If you're planning on coming here, don't forget Saturday is at 1:10. And if you are not planning to come to the ballpark, don't forget your home for baseball every Saturday is Fox and Fox Sports 1. Escobar's had some good swings against Bauer, who flips in a breaking ball. 1 ball, 1 strike. It depends on how you look at it. Either Bauer has pitched well with men on base, or the Royals have not done a good job of moving runners. Escobar led off the first inning with a walk, stole a base, got to third with 1 out in the second. Gordon walked, and now the leadoff walk to Rios in the 4th, and he's still standing at first with 2 down. And Bauer in this inning, that's the 3rd Royal. Perez, Infante, and Escobar chasing a fastball up, maybe a tick out of the strike zone.
Hard to lay off of, that's for sure. But your chances of, especially if it's any kind of velocity, 93 plus, you can't touch it. You can just foul it off. You can't put it in play. Rios told me today before the game that he feels great. His hand has got no pain whatsoever in the hand, totally healed. Legs feel good. Says trying to get his timing offensively, but other than that, he's ready to go. Says it feels better than he did in the spring even.
He looks like he wants to run, and there he goes. Escobar took a bad swing and strikes out. So Bauer has walked 4, he has struck out 4, and he gets around the leadoff walk in this inning.
to be able to get together. They both played at Tennessee at different times, but they make their offseason home in Tennessee and Knoxville, and they play catch all the time together. They work out every day. They're the best of friends. And Gomes caught Hoach all offseason, and he said he kept throwing him change-ups, and he said, Hoach, you never throw change-ups in a game. And Hoach said, I'm going to strike you out on a backdoor change-up when I face you later on in the season. Well, they did face each other the other night on Tuesday. He promised all backdoor change-ups, and what did he get? A fastball in. Jammed him. Broken bat. On Wednesday, the day after, Gomes saw him at the stadium, and he said, nice backdoor change-up, Hoach. Hoach laughed and said, I'm in his head now. He has no idea what he is going to get the next time. Gomes telling me today, I just want a homer off him so we could be done with this. They are really close. Their families are close. Gomes' wife, he met through a connection with Hochaver's family and one of his siblings. So a great friendship there. But right now, Hoach has the edge.
Bragging rights amongst friends is huge. And that ups the ante. The competition amongst your friends is the greatest it'll ever be. Much greater than going against a stranger you don't know. How about that? Hoach told him that probably with his fingers crossed behind his back. He's not going to tip his hand to what he's going to throw him.
Three and one on Michael Brantley. He drove in a run in the Indians' 4-run third inning. Three and two.
Don't want to put anybody on, especially with the big part of the order coming up. Make him earn it.
It's been a high pitch count game for Young so far. This is number 80, and he got Brantley to perhaps go out of the strike zone. So just under 20 pitches per inning, and the one that really dented his pitch count was the 26 pitch third inning.
I thought he might hook him there. He did. He put a little slider on him. Good spot. Elevated it just enough for you to get a piece of it.
Thought about it. Second walk allowed by Chris Young. He uses that slider a lot. You know, we talk about his high fastball, where he gets most of his fly ball outs, but he throws that slider about 40% of the time. Only Tyler Ross, who pitches for the Rangers, throws a more percentage of sliders than Chris Young.
You can have that slider. It's hittable if it's up and out over the plate, but most of the time when they put it where they want it, you can only do that. Just foul it off.
There's the high fastball. He really set up Brandon Moss in the third inning, and now they're moving around in the Royals bullpen. Franklin Morales kind of doing a little groundskeeping on the mound before playing catch. Young set up Moss with sliders down and put him away with a fastball up. And again, a fastball up again, and it's fouled over our heads.
This is the ball up there that he got him on, and Moss knew it was coming, but just a little bit up and out of his reach.
Moss has seen 4 pitches and he has fouled off 4 pitches. Got on top of a high fastball.
Yeah. He was looking up there.
Brandon Moss. Boy, does he love to hit here. So going back to the wild card game, that is 16 RBIs for Brandon Moss at Kauffman Stadium. And the Indians have their second 4-run lead of the night.
3-2 slider in the dirt was ill-advised to Brantley as he walked him, and then I told you with these guys coming up behind him, it could be trouble. And sure enough, one too many high fastballs, and Moss, he's a beast. He's not going to miss them. Loves hitting here at the K. Very powerful guy. Strong lower half, and he puts it upper half and the lower half together. That's what you get.
That is his team leading 10th home run of the year.
That's his 5th hit off of Chris Young, and 4 of those have been homers.
Murphy hustling up the line. Young gets there in front of him. 1 down. Murphy is 1 for 3.
Let her high, and he was able to get it. Then he swung on it. It was gone.
Lonnie Chisenhall is 1 for 2. 6 runs, 8 hits for the Indians in 4 1/3 innings, and hit hard, but right to Hosmer, 2 down. Don't forget, you can enjoy one-of-a-kind experiences here at Kauffman Stadium with our Royals Memories program. A variety of on-the-fielder opportunities available for purchase each game exclusively through the MLB.com ballpark app. How would you like to play catch in the outfield? Take in summer fireworks on the field. So many exciting experiences like those two. Just simply download the ballpark app, pick upgrades, and select an experience. Aviles out to Escobar, and that is the inning. The Indians get a 2-run home run from Brandon Moss, his 10th of the year, and they lead by 4. allowed 14 runs this year, and 8 of those on home runs. On this date in Royals history, in 1988, look at that young guy, Jeff Montgomery, making his Royals debut.
Look at the stirrups and the build up there, Monty. That looked good.
They were a lot of fun. Yeah, I like
Can you
this.
believe that? What is that? 27 years ago?
27 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just think, a little boy, little girl that was born on that day is maybe a doctor or a lawyer now.
Well,
how does that make you feel?
Well, it makes you feel pretty old, to be honest.
But you've aged well. I mean, look at you.
I feel great.
Yeah.
I do. I feel like I still pitch. I wouldn't be able to get anybody out, but I still pitch.
What do you remember about that game? Other than it was your Royals debut, any details?
I don't have any details. I think I pitched just a batter or two.
So you've been around long enough now where you're not broadcasting about guys you played with or against. You're talking about their sons. Drew Butera.
Yeah, interesting, because Drew's father Sal was on my first major league team in Cincinnati.
So that debut in 1988, and then 304 saves later.
Slider. Nope. Got him upstairs, Monty.
That's Chris Young. Like Chris Young imitation.
The guys here, Greg Gagne, Joe Carter. Now, who would have known that that guy would have become this guy?
I've said this before. You'll do anything for money, right?
I guess so.
Ball players are. We'll do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
What the heck is that thing you're holding?
He's got a fire extinguisher.
Oh, there you go.
You know, that's Monty's been pitching long enough now where it was the fireman back then. It wasn't just a closer, but he came in when there was a fire, and he's got his fire extinguisher. He's got his 80s hairband hairstyle going.
I'm not sure what that fire suit is I have on.
Yep.
Monty, you got to tell him.
You
now,
forgot to put the sleeves on that day.
Card company came to you and said, hey, you sign 1,000 of these and we'll pay you for it, right?
That's right. Not that you don't have much option. It's kind of like you have to do it. Part of the Players Association.
Yep.
How about this? Dave Holtzman right on top of Monty's debut. 1/3 of an inning, 1 hit, and that 1 hit to Mickey Brantley on the topic of sons of fathers. His son Michael Brantley is now playing for the Indians.
Well, I'm assuming that was against the Mariners then.
Had to have been. Look out. Oh, man, that might have hit Michael Brantley. Wow.
Monty, I heard it was a bunt. Do you remember it?
I don't. Not surprising, though. We had that turf, and a lot of guys would bunt on the turf.
Chopped out to Kipnis. So with another 4-run lead, Bauer gets the Royals in order in the bottom of the 5th. Tough night for Chris Young, and rare for that to happen here at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals trail 6-2 to the top of the 6th inning. What'd you see, Monty?
Well, Ryan, he looked good in the first couple of innings, got away with maybe a couple of pitches, but we're used to seeing Chris Young be himself out there. He doesn't get rattled. He just kind of keeps competing, keeps battling. Was able to do that effectively the first couple of innings, and then that third inning comes around, and unfortunately he was kind of in that middle part of the strike zone. He's got to be either above the zone or below the zone. Once he gets in that middle zone, then it's tough on Chris Young. It doesn't matter who you are. You're starting getting in the middle. The opposing hitters will let you know that, and the Indians did with 4 runs in that third inning.
And now Franklin Morales is a Chevy call to the bullpen. I'm sure you were listening. Hud and I earlier in the game were having the discussion about if you face Chris Young, what do you do? Do you tell yourself I need to lay off the high fastball because, you know, when he's on, he puts it in that no man's land where it's a strike, but there's really not a whole lot you can do with it? Or do you do, getting back to something that Joel brought to the broadcast tonight, you do maybe what Brian McCann does, and that you anticipate a fastball up and maybe you cheat, you try and get on top of it, because it looked like that's what the Indians were trying to do to him tonight.
Right. I think as a pitcher, you're taught to be down in the strike zone unless you're a guy like Chris Young. I remember Tim Belcher was the same way. They would pitch upstairs very effectively, and it was on purpose. It wasn't like they were making mistakes. They would get a lot of fly ball outs as a result of being up in a strike zone. But I think the real key is you have to mix it up. And Chris Young, he's got that good slider. He can throw it under your bat as well. But you start going to the well one too many times, and they can kind of anticipate it. And I think that's what a lot of the Indians started doing. They started looking for the high fastball, kind of playing into their game.
And also, Ryan, it depends on what kind of hitter you are too. If you're not a home run hitter, you're not going to even look up there at all.
Good point. Yep.
But Moss and those other, McCann, they're looking up there because they have the ability to hit it out of the park. Chester. Oh.
Bare hands. One hop. Got him.
On contact, Michael Bourne thought he had him an infield hit. The way he can fly out of the left-handed batter's box. Escobar, that's the first barehander we've seen from him in a long time. In the hole, using the turf. It was beautiful. Look at that. Never expected the bare hand to come into it. One hopper. Hosmer with the nice stretch. Bourne, he's heartbroken. Hang with him. What a play. That's a Gold Glove play.
You tip whatever you can get your hands on after a play like that. Wow. Escobar, like any kid growing up in Venezuela, he idolized a former Indian shortstop, Omar Vizquel, who was a much different player than Alcides Escobar. He wasn't as tall. He didn't have Escobar's arm. But the good shortstops, they have a timer in the back of their head, and they know with every runner how much time they have to get the ball to first base. And didn't it seem like, as good as Vizquel was, what did he win? 11, 12 Gold Gloves. But it seemed like every play was bang bang at first base. You know, he knew when he had to rush and he knew when he had time.
Just enough.
And I think that play was made before Bourne ever hit it, because Escobar knew in the back of his mind his speed and what it was going to take if he had to come in on a ball. And just pure reaction once he got to that point. Decided he didn't have time with the glove. Let's go with the bare hand.
That's beyond his range. By the way, Vizquel won 11 Gold Gloves. Perez has his first hit. He is 1 for 3. Well, a good time to remind you to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And let's add to Eski's All-Star vote total. As it stands now, he would be the starter in the All-Star game. You can vote up to 35 or 36 times.
35 times.
35, okay.
Yeah. Make sure we get that.
Make sure they didn't change the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well take a shot for 36 or 37.
Why not?
Kipnis has been on twice. Alex is back and makes the play. 2 down. And now Carlos Santana will bat left-handed for the first time. Sal's going to go out and chat with Morales. He pitched on Tuesday. Omar Infante going to go in there and make sure that they don't change the signs. A lot of middle infielders like to look in at the catcher's signs and adjust accordingly. And Infante really wants to know because he's playing directly behind second base. So he has a straight line. Salvador Perez. Escobar can't quite get that one. It tipped off the end of his glove, and Santana has a 2-hit game, and the Indians have a 10-hit game.
Cleveland Indians are a different team this time around. Playing a lot better baseball. Their offense is coming back. They're getting some production out of Moss. Kipnis kind of carried the load in May.
Thought it was interesting, their 5th consecutive May that they've had a winning record. But I wouldn't think hitting in Cleveland the majority of the time during the month of April would be a lot of fun.
We've been there in some Aprils where it wasn't very fun. So Michael Brantley, 27 years ago, his father got a base hit off of Monty in Monty's Royals debut. One ball, one strike. I was a junior in high school. I mean, not to rub it in or anything.
See, I didn't break into the big leagues at age 21 like a lot of these guys do now. I was 25.
Morales to the bag. The Indians strand 2 in the 6th inning. Another play for Alcides Escobar's highlight reel and his bid for a Gold Glove against Michael Bourne to begin this inning.
Awesome. Unbelievable.
6th inning. He is at 80 pitches, so he's in very good shape. The Royals would like to get into the Indians bullpen. Down by 4 and have Morales, Gordon, and Rios. Santana will get it to Bauer. 1 down. Rios, or rather Morales, is 1 for 3. Take a look at the sprint cuts of the game and the Royals against Trevor Bauer tonight.
Haven't been able to do much. Just 3 hits. The one big one was a 2-run homer by Lorenzo Cain. But Bauer, he's really mixing them up well. He's got 5 or 6 pitches, but he's simplified them a little bit tonight, going mainly fastball, curveball, and a few little sliders. He's hasn't even brought in his changeup that often, Monty.
You know, the thing that's been impressive to me for Bauer tonight is he's used all parts of the strike zone. He hasn't just been down. He's climbed the ladder effectively, and a lot of times guys like Bauer don't come upstairs a lot. We saw the pitch on Mike Moustakas. He got him out on, so he's really mixed the pitches up, and he's also mixed up the location a lot.
Back in the 4th inning, he got Perez to chase a pitch up. He got Infante to chase a pitch up. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Derek Mason from KCMO. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Derek wins $600. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Derek wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals.
Bauer, he has really good stuff, but with the 4 walks he's allowed tonight, tells me he's effectively wild, and that can really test an offense. When he's, he got the good stuff, but he's not quite there. It's a tough pickup. I mean, it really is hard to pick up his pitches.
It's a lot different. Last night, Corey Kluber, who on the other hand was always around the strike zone, you can kind of zone in a little bit, but effectively wild, describing Bauer here, where you don't really know where it's going to be.
It's even harder to focus on the pitch you want to hit. Trying to pick it up in that spot, but because he's using all 4 quadrants of the strike zone, like you said, Monty, it's not easy. I don't think that's a byproduct of the Royals not hitting good. I just think it's some good pitching tonight. Look at that curveball. It's dropping sharp and crisp. It's really testing this offense.
He has great stuff. There's no doubt about that. Seems like occasionally he seems to get a little bit rattled, gets upset with himself. Kind of reminds me of Danny Duffy at times when he has his issues, but tonight he's been a lot more in command.
Alex lines out to Bourne in center field. But he has a little deception in his motion too. What does that little rock back at the last moment do for a hitter trying to pick the ball up? It's not a fluid motion.
No, you know, the more times you see this guy, the better off you're going to be. If you're facing him for the first few times, it's going to be tough because you're trying to pick up his release point, but it's a little bit different than the average guy. So it's just going to be a field process, but this time of the game here, he's pretty much got his game together. Unless they can bunch a few hits together and get a big hit, the Royals are going to have a hard time catching Bauer. Check him out here. We'll see it. A little step back.
Yeah, he's got a little gather. He gets that balance point, then he explodes. He really drops down and drives off the backside.
He really reaches back, doesn't he?
It's deceptive. It's hard to pick it up.
You had a little bit of that, Monty. I remember seeing some still photos of you where it looked like you were almost going to touch the back of the mound with the ball.
Right. You have to load up. If you're not a big guy, you have to rely on your big muscles. The only way to do that is to get that drop down and drive. Use the big quadricep muscles and abdominals to generate that motion.
Rios has flied to left and walked. Bauer walked 4 in the first 4 innings, but none of those walks turned into runs. 2-2. Fair ball. Chisenhall. Good strong arm. Santana with a stretch to help him out. 9 in a row retired by Trevor Bauer. The Indians lead by 4. Royals baseball is brought to you by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Downtown KC quiet because around 30,000 are here tonight. Another Chevy call to the bullpen. Jason Frazier will pitch the top of the 7th inning. The Indians scored all 6 against Chris Young. He went 5. Franklin Morales pitched the 6th, and now Frazier in the 7th, and he'll get Moss, Murphy, and Chisenhall. And the first 2 hitters, Moss and Murphy, have driven in 4 of the 6 runs. Royals have not lost a series at home this year. Only the Royals and the Dodgers are without a home series loss.
Low 90s fastball from Frazier. Slider, a few split fingers he'll use, and it's a very effective third pitch for him.
Frazier last pitch on Sunday in that cold, windy game at Wrigley Field. That was Jason Frazier's favorite team growing up in Chicago. He was a South Side kid, but his favorite team was the Cubs, and gave up that little blue base hit to David Ross in the bottom of the 11th inning that scored the winning run. And with no win, that might have been a fly ball deep enough into left field that Alex Gordon would have run up and caught, but the wind just kept pushing it back to the infield and somehow dropped between Escobar and Gordon.
And Esky had a little sit down slide. He looked like he was going to catch it, but the wind blew it even, past his glove as he was sliding out there. But great try. What are you going to do?
Cleveland got 4 in the 3rd inning. The Royals answered with 2 in the bottom of the 4th on a Lorenzo Cain home run. And then Moss right now has the biggest hit of the game, the 2-run shot in the 5th. Pulled just foul. He is a pull hitter, and I remember reading about him last year. Chili Davis was the hitting coach for the A's. And it seems like we're in an era right now where if you are a dead pull hitter, it's almost like you're implying that that's a bad thing. You know, that you should be able to hit the ball to all fields. Dead pull hitter just used to be a way to describe certain hitters, but nowadays it's different. But Chili Davis noticed that Brandon Moss was trying too hard to hit the ball to all fields and said, hey man, if you're a dead pull hitter, that's okay.
That's what a hitting coach can do. Not work on your mechanics, on your swing, but give you a mental adjustment. That's some good advice there from a great switch hitter.
Chili Davis is now the hitting coach of the Boston Red Sox.
They've been scuffling. How's he going to get Big Papi going?
Boston had a 4-0 lead over Minnesota earlier today, and when it was all said and done, Minnesota won 8-4. So the Royals are in danger of falling 1 game back of the Twins, and that's the first team the Royals will see on their upcoming road trip.
That should be great.
Moss is on with a leadoff walk. As we do every night, we show you the DraftKings players to watch. Joey Gallo made his big league debut for the Rangers and almost hit for the cycle. He was just a triple shy of hitting for the cycle. A couple of days later, hit his second big league home run in the upper deck at the ballpark at Arlington, or Globe Life Park.
He's 0 for 3 tonight. He's trying to be the first player in the history of baseball to get home runs in his first 3 games. He might have a shot left, and we'll see him tomorrow night.
Escobar is hitless tonight, but he has made the defensive play of the game. Last inning on a ground ball from Michael Bourne, making a bare hand play, throwing him out. Oh, 2 on Murphy. He had the biggest hit of the game until Moss's home run in the 5th. A 2-out 2-run double to cap the Indians' 4-run third. And 2. There is some big time weather on the way. We just had a look at the radar, and rather large and angry looking weather front is coming in from the northwest.
Close by?
About an hour, maybe a little farther northwest than that. A little northwest of Leavenworth. Steve Kurtenbach, our director, is also our Fox Sports Kansas City meteorologist. He is predicting it is 70 minutes away. 2-2. Alex makes a play in left field. 1 down in the 7th inning. Lonnie Chisenhall singled in the second inning. He is 1 for 3. The Indians hit the road after the game tonight. They will go home. It's about an hour 30, hour 40-minute flight, but they will lose an hour going into the East Coast time zone. So it's a late night for them. The Royals stay home with the Texas Rangers coming to town.
Royals tomorrow night will face a right-hander, Chichi Gonzalez.
One and two on Chisenhall.
Never seen him before, have we, Rhino?
No. Just made his debut, didn't he?
So 1-0. Didn't score any runs off him.
I'd say he was looking at a no-hitter for a while, wasn't he?
Yep. Oh, that's right. Now I've seen him.
No-hitter was broken up in the 6th inning in his debut.
That's right. I saw that highlight.
About that for a start.
Mm-hmm.
Two and two on Chisenhall. We will not see Josh Hamilton. He had a hamstring injury. He's out for 4 weeks. We will not see Adrian Beltre, who was on the disabled list with a thumb injury. We always seem to see the best of Adrian Beltre. Texas been playing a lot better lately. That's going to skip away from Salvador Perez. And a wild pitch sends Brandon Moss to second base. Texas is at home tonight hosting Chicago. They are above 500.
Yeah, you know, and they're getting better. Fielder at first baseman having a good comeback season. Could be comeback player of the year candidate for that. They're using the whole field. He's a confident hitter. Josh Hamilton gave him a big boost last week or two. Coming back, hitting some homers, some doubles, and walk-off. And the kid, DeShields.
Delino DeShields Jr. He was just named the American League Rookie of the Month of May.
Got that good speed.
3 and 2 on Chisenhall. The Royals need to keep the Indians right here at 6-2. Jammed him. Good pitch. Hosmer will feed Frazier. 2 down, and Moss goes to third. And now Mike Aviles. Mike Aviles is a great story. Mike Aviles in his baseball career has always had to deal with a lack of respect. He was not heavily recruited out of high school, so it goes back to his high school days, and went to a Division II school, Concordia College in New York. But he made the most of that. He was the Division II Player of the Year in 2003. Signed by the Royals in the 7th round. In 2007, Mike Aviles was the Minor League Player of the Year, but the Royals had some lack of flexibility on the 40-man roster, so they left him unprotected. The Minor League Player of the Year unprotected, but Aviles was not claimed by any other teams. So what did he do? He got called up to the big leagues the next year and was the Royals Major League Player of the Year.
Nice. You know, guys like that never lose confidence in themselves, although others do at times. Always been able to stay confident. He's extremely confident player. He's not cocky, but he's borderline. He's a very confident guy, and a good story, Rhino.
He has to be. I mean, a guy who has the deck stacked against him that many times, he's got to be confident in himself, because oftentimes there have been people who have not been confident in him. All right, a little trivia question for you, Hud.
All right.
What do Mike Aviles and, remember the outfielder Randy Wynn, played for Tampa Bay and Seattle?
Yeah.
What do Mike Aviles and Randy Wynn have in common?
You got me already. I can't think of it.
We'll let our viewers think about that one for a while. Mike Aviles and Randy Wynn. Is the suspense killing you?
Have anything to do with their last names, A and W?
What?
I'm thirsty.
You're thirsty?
I want a root beer.
No, Hud.
That's not it.
Randy Wynn and Mike Aviles have both been traded for a manager who both enjoyed root beer, coincidentally. Can you name the managers?
No, that's the first I've heard of that.
Randy Wynn to Seattle for Lou Piniella. Mike Aviles to Toronto for John Farrell.
Wow. Nice call.
Enjoy your root beer.
Oakland has lost 7 straight. If they lose tomorrow, that would be 8 straight for the first time since 05. Minnesota doubles up Boston. Baltimore won better than Houston. Chicago and Texas tied in the 7th. And monster game break takes us to Boston. Torrey Hunter down 4-0. That is a 3-run shot. Ryan told you before that the Twins came back. Joe Mauer bunting in a tie game in the 9th. And the rookie catcher, Blake Swihart, throws it away. Pablo Sandoval, not much of a good job stopping that ball. And so all Twins late. Also should show you, and show you this after this pitch, if you want to turn away, because this, could have very well have been the Royals. But happening today in D.C., the San Francisco Giants at the White House today. Well, the current Giants, but I think we see somewhere in the middle there Nori Aoki, so he had a chance to visit too. Hey Hud, what do Nori Aoki and Barack Obama have in common?
They like root beer.
They don't like root beer, and both of their names, their last names start with a vowel. How about that? Back to you.
Salvador Perez hit that down around the end of the bat. We say all the time that in this great game of baseball, you will see things on a daily basis that you've never seen before. And in this broadcast booth, you will hear things that you have never heard before. Things you could never imagine hearing before. Root beer?
Well, you know, when you have a childlike mind, things like that happen. I always brace myself when you come to me with a question like that, and I just try to give you the best I got. And there's not a lot up there to grasp.
Moss will make the play in right field. Well, as you know, the Royals and Fox Sports Kansas City are offering a unique way for fans across the Midwest to enjoy a game at Kauffman Stadium. It's the Forever Royal Fan Express. Fans in designated markets will have the opportunity to win a trip to Kauffman Stadium. The next stop is Manhattan. That's coming up in 2 days. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information.
All aboard. Better on it than under it, like I spend a lot of my time.
Trevor Bauer is 1 out away from his 5th consecutive start with at least 7 innings. Alcides Escobar with the bullpen working out in right field. Singles with 2 outs. Bauer is over 100 pitches. Brian Shaw is going to begin to throw. Standing next to, I believe, Nick Hagedorn, a lefty. And here comes Terry Francona. And here's where the pace of the game enhancements go right out the window.
He'll mix and match with the best of them.
Saturday, our coverage of the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup begins as China takes on host country Canada. And then Monday, don't miss Team USA's first game as they battle Australia on Fox Sports 1. Plus games all weekend long on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2. And always streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, let's see if the Royals can have better luck against the Indians bullpen. Now, far be it for me to question a manager with the credentials of Terry Francona. one of the best in the game, bar none. But Trevor Bauer had thrown just over 100 pitches. Terry Francona knows Trevor Bauer better than anybody. His limitations, his pitch count. A 4-run game, a runner at first and 2 down. And the matchups begin now.
Yeah,
the chances are very slim by my calculation that Mike Moustakas can hit a grand slam right here.
Yeah, you know, obviously he thought that Bauer was finished, and he, you know, just retired 11 straight before Escobar. And you wonder about his thinking, but he obviously, if we went down there and asked him, he would tell us. But we don't know that.
And maybe, because it does happen from time to time, a manager will tell a pitcher when he takes him out, as long as you get out, you can stay out there. But somebody reaches, you know, we don't know if Bauer, some nonverbal communication to the dugout that he was done, but that's a 24-year-old kid right there who trains as hard and as much as anybody. But from the Royals' point of view, hey, maybe this is the night that the Indians bullpen doesn't have it, because the Royals are having very little luck against Bauer.
Who's very respectable average against lefties this year so far, 279. A couple homers.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
Hanging on, good fastball. He'll go low to mid with that hard slider. That's the one he's throwing.
Hagedorn was called on to face Moustakas in game 1 on Tuesday and got him to ground out to second base. So 3 starting pitchers in this series sitting together: Carrasco, Bauer, and Kluber. Three and 2.
Moose gets on. Better believe he'll be going to that bullpen again.
Escobar takes off. Moustakas walks. Heskey rounding second base. So Hagedorn comes on and walks Moustakas. And Bauer, you're not happy there about something.
Well, obviously Francona thought he was done, and he went and pulled him out. You mentioned it. Francona's got a lot of experience. He's a world champion 2 times. And Bauer, he's going to greet Hagedorn. Tell him good try, and here comes
Brian Shaw on to face Lorenzo Cain. Time brought to you by Miller Lite.
Lorenzo Cain really leaned back on one, and I mean he did, because when you go there at Kauffman Stadium over the second tier, you've done something. 2-run homer. Does he have one left? Up against the guy Shaw, 90-96. Good hard fastball. Cuts his fastball a lot. Slider, curve.
And it's the second time that Shaw has come on to face Cain on Tuesday night. Terry Francona with the same sequence here. Hagedon for Moustakas, Shaw for Cain, and you got Cain looking with a strikeout. So Lorenzo just 1 for 10 against Shaw and didn't have a very good looking swing there. And it's 0-2.
Shaw will make hitters look like this on a pitch that's very off, just off the plate. You can see Lorenzo Cain couldn't quite pick up the release point. It's because Shaw has such a cross-firing action across his body, hides the ball well, very difficult on righties.
Shallow right, and Moss is there with lightning flashing. Out beyond left field, there is rain in the parking lot. 6-2 Cleveland at the end of 7. Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefebvre with Mr. Root Beer, Rex Hudler, along with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery, with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Ryan Shapiro. Joe Blanton takes over in the top of the 8th inning. And of course, nowadays with smartphones and tablets, everyone has access to weather radars, and there is a very colorful, large weather cell that is right on the edge of Kauffman Stadium. At least that's what the radar looks like. And so fans are starting to make their way up the aisles. Some of them trying to get to their cars before the weather arrives. We saw some lightning. The final out of the bottom of the 7th inning as the out was being recorded out in that direction there, out to the north-northwest. We saw several flashes of lightning. Good start for Blanton as he strikes out Michael Bourne, 1 down in the 8th inning.
Blanton got 2 and 4 seam fastball he'll use. He cut that one just a tear, and it really was effective location. Good spot. Got a big curveball he'll use.
And that's the other sign in addition to the radar. There is the radar. Perez grounds out to Infante. There are the flags out in right field, and then the position of the grounds crew. And the tarp has been uncovered, and they are ready to put the tarp on the field. And now it begins to rain here at Kauffman Stadium. Tomorrow, the Texas Rangers will be here. Edinson Volquez, who came up through the Rangers organization, will go up against Chichi Gonzalez, who went 5 2/3 scoreless in his big league debut. And now even more fans have decided to make their way up the stairs to the concourse and out to their cars. 0-2 on Jason Kipnis. Good inning for Blanton. 3-pitch strikeout to get Kipnis, and he has 2 strikeouts in a scoreless 8th. After the game, it is Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty. There you go, and the camera out in right field picking up some raindrops, and HUD telestrating some lightning bolts.
I probably could do a little better with a bolt.
Remember, Saturday, MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns with the Royals and the Rangers. Steve Physiak will call that game with Eric Karros. And then it's baseball night in America with the Tigers and White Sox at 6 p.m. Your home for baseball every Saturday is Fox and Fox Sports 1. Jose Ramirez is the new Indian shortstop. Mark Zepchinski is the Indians' new pitcher. This is exactly what Terry Francona did in the game on Tuesday, although on Tuesday his starter Carlos Carrasco went 7 innings, but then Francona in the 8th went Hagedorn, Shaw, Zepchinski. Tonight Trevor Bauer went 6 2/3 innings, and he's gone Hagedorn, Shaw, Zepchinski, which is important because anybody coming to the plate right now could hit a 4-run home run. Oh, wait a minute. No, they couldn't.
Nope, not going to happen. You know, Terry Francona's thinking could be that he's going to use his bullpen and mix and match against different guys, and it keeps guys fresh longer. They only come in for one hitter, and so therefore it's going to save a little bit on the wear and tear over the long haul. That's one of his thoughts, I'm sure, but sure does like to mix and match. Instead of leaving a guy in for 3 or 4 hitters, he'll just yank him out of there and pull another guy in.
And I would imagine with a lineup like the Royals, where you have alternating right and left-hand batters, that he uses this sequence often and wants to stay consistent for the benefit of the relievers. You hear that a lot about guys in the bullpen. They want to know what their role is. They want to know when to expect to come into the game. So whether it was a 1-run game like it was on Tuesday or a 4-run game tonight, he is staying with the same sequence of pitchers. And a slider gets Hosmer, 1 down in the 8th inning. And now here comes the tarp. So they're going to try and get the tarp on the field before the heavy rain arrives. And we've been watching the radar, and if you're familiar with the radar, don't worry, Nick Swisher, our guy knows what he's doing.
That's right.
If you keep an eye on the radar, you have light green, dark green as far as intensity goes, yellow, orange, red, and beyond that purple. I saw some purple on the weather system that is on its way to Kauffman Stadium. The other reason why Trevor wants to put the tarp on the field is you can tell that the grounds crew is already having some difficulty because of the wind. So if the rain and the wind both arrived at the same time, we've seen it before. If it begins to rain very hard, it's hard to move the tarp, and the tarp can get stuck and the field gets flooded. And now it's raining harder, so Trevor's timing is spot on, as it normally is. So get the tarp on the field before the heavy winds and the heavy rain, and we'll see where we go from here.
You know, it's something kind of new for me, Rhino. You breaking down the colors of the radar. You know, where I came from, we never saw any moisture. There was no thunderstorms, no rain, no nothing hardly out there ever. We didn't see any of that. And my kids have had a hard time here in the Midwest getting used to the storms, the thunder, and you know. And so
I'd like to see the stunned look on the Indians' faces now. They just got the tarp down and it's pouring.
Perfect timing.
Right.
Trevor Vance, he does a great job. He's as good as any weatherman there is. But when you mention the color purple, that's an unusual color.
Good movie too.
Yeah, I've seen it. But does that mean
that's about as hard as it gets?
Okay.
So it is going to rain hard. It's going to be windy. It's a very large weather pattern. I mean, there are parts of this weather pattern that go up into Nebraska. I mean, beyond Lincoln.
So this game could be over.
Could be.
There he is.
Look at him.
Rain Man.
Like an old sailor going down with his ship. Just standing out there, no hat on, no hood, just waiting until the last spike is in the tarp, securing it to the field. All right, so rain delay with the Royals batting with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th inning. Cleveland leading 6-2, and we will take a short break.